Black Panther, Wakanda Forever has finally landed in theaters, and while the ending wraps things up, it certainly keeps the door open for more to come. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever ties up most of its storylines, but it leaves several doors open as it teases what's to come, including Namor's new plans following his initial defeat by Shuri. Besides Namor's schemes, Shuri and the rest of Wakanda had to contend with the absence of King T'Challa, whose passing was viscerally felt throughout the film. In the wake of so much emotional turmoil, including the death of Queen Ramonda, Shuri chose to show Namor mercy instead of plowing ahead with vengeance in their hearts. With T'Challa and Nakia's son introduced in Wakanda Forever's mid-credits scene, the sequel sets up Black Panther's legacy for another generation. Ultimately, the film unveiled plenty of storylines to think about after its ending. Why Namor doesn't have blue skin like others from Talokan. Namor was the first child to be born with the vibranium-infused herb that transformed his mother and the rest of their people. While their skin became blue and they were no longer able to breathe on the surface, Namor was born without blue skin, but with pointed ears and wings on his feet. What's more, he could breathe in the water and on land without trouble, though he drew his powers from the water. He is stronger than others from Talokan and doesn't have the same skin tone because Namor is a mutant. His genes a hybrid of human traits and the transformative power of vibranium, taking from the best of both worlds. Why the Talokan call Namor the Feathered Serpent God. While he's known as Namor, the Talokan call him as Keokokan, the Feathered Serpent God. In Mesoamerican religions and communities, including the Yucatec Maya, Keokokan is a deity, a snake with feathers as the name suggests, that was worshipped and appeared in architecture and tales. In one folklore story, Keokokan is a boy who's born a serpent and, when he can no longer live on land, flies into the ocean to live out his days. What's more, the name Talokan seemingly comes from the Aztec Tlalocan, which was considered a place of paradise that took people who died by drowning or disease. Will M'Baku finally be king of Wakanda? The end of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever saw M'Baku arriving at Warrior Falls to challenge someone for the title of king. It's not the first time he's done so. In the first Black Panther, M'Baku challenged T'Challa for the title of king, a challenge he lost. However, Wakanda Forever reveals Shuri is not interested in being queen, and her absence at the ceremony shows her support of M'Baku as king, something he's long wanted. M'Baku played a crucial role in helping Wakanda, residing on the council, and fighting alongside both T'Challa and Shuri when they needed him most. As king of Wakanda, he'd make a good ruler considering he doesn't want Wakanda to be in a perpetual war. Why Shuri saw Killmonger on the ancestral plane and not her mother. One of the most surprising aspects of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was the return of Killmonger, who appeared to Shuri on the ancestral plane after consuming the heart-shaped herb. Shuri was expecting to see her mother, but she saw Killmonger instead because, at the time, the princess of Wakanda had nothing but hatred, anger, and vengeance in her heart. It fueled her actions and aligned her with Killmonger, whose same emotions drove him to action against Wakanda in Black Panther. Shuri was not in a positive state of mind, which is why she didn't see Queen Ramonda until the moment she nearly killed Namor. Shuri's true self was overshadowed by revenge, but showing Namor mercy allowed her to fully honor the mantle of Black Panther and her mother. How Riri Williams' Wakanda Forever origin sets up her MCU future. Riri Williams aids Shuri and the Wakandans in their battle against Namor, using the Ironheart suit Shuri builds for her. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever gave Riri an origin story, but only hinted at her background. With Riri unintentionally helping the US and trying to find vibranium, the MCU sequel's ending might have her reconsider her actions, and to whom she gives her inventions. What's more, it's possible Riri will start making her own version of the Ironheart suit and use it to be a superhero in her own right. If anything, the Wakandans showed her that her inventions can be used for good, and Riri will likely take that lesson to heart. What Valentina Allegra de Fontaine's role reveals about her MCU plans. While Black Panther, Wakanda Forever posits Namor as the primary antagonist, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine's presence suggests she's playing the long game. In one scene, she tells Everett that she's dreamed of the US having vibranium and all they could do with it. It's possible Valentina was listening in on Everett Ross' calls to gain information about Namor, his underwater kingdom, and the status of Wakanda. Throughout the film, Wakanda is blamed for thwarting efforts to obtain vibranium, attacks on US soil, and kidnapping Riri Williams. It's likely Valentina's plan is to destabilize Wakanda and strip them of their power on the world stage. By doing that, Valentina could acquire all the vibranium she wants to ensure her shadow agency, and the US remains in power in a potential war with Wakanda. Why Namor actually yielded to Shuri. Namor is nothing if not patient. Though he realized Shuri's Black Panther could have killed him during their final battle, Namor didn't have to yield. However, choosing to take the loss sees Namor gaining a true ally in Wakanda. Namor was seeing the bigger picture. His death would have devastated Talokan and left them without a leader, but an alliance with Wakanda, a country that's currently under international pressure to share its vibranium, would unknowingly make them soldiers in his war against the surface. Shuri promised to protect Namor's oceans if he yielded, and that promise was exactly what Namor wanted all along, an assurance that Wakanda would stand by his side. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever's ending hints that Wakanda and Namor will be allied in a potential war, one that is waged by others against Wakanda. It's only a matter of time before the US and other countries attempt to find and steal vibranium for their own uses. And there will only be so much Wakanda can do before things come to a breaking point, especially if other countries keep trying to claim Wakandans are in the wrong for not sharing certain resources. With tensions rising on the surface, a follow-up MCU movie could see the new Black Panther and the rest of Wakanda fighting alongside Namor instead of against him, whether they like it or not.